On behalf of the motion picture industry, welcome to the world of home video entertainment.
Hello, and welcome back. We're still talking about organizing your movie collection. In my first video, I talked about the physical storage, strategies for storage, whether you're going to put them on shelves, binders, boxes. Going to use a combination of those methods, which is what I do. This video, we're going to wade into the murky waters of movie cataloging software. And it's murky waters because no matter what suggestions that I give, within weeks or months of this video, they're going to be probably out of date. Software is going to move on, operating systems are going to move on, things change, maybe not rapidly. I mean, the choices of movie cataloging software that we had maybe 5 or 10 years ago, most of those are still here. They probably look a little bit different, but what I'm going to be doing is kind of just covering in broad strokes, again, what you should look for when you want to catalog your movies digitally. And I hope, by the way, you do want to catalog them digitally. When I was a little kid, I used to have a little notebook where I wrote in all of the VHS tapes, what was on the VHS tapes. I gave each VHS tape a number, and that was a lot of fun, but it was difficult to reorganize that. And if I'd had a computer when I was a kid, it would have been really great to just put them in some kind of DVD database or even a spreadsheet or a text file and just organize them that way. And it's really fun and easy to search for something if you can know within seconds whether or not you have something. So that's great. Now, speaking of text files and spreadsheets, that's something oftentimes when you do a search for best DVD cataloging software online, you'll get a couple of people popping up. I just use a text file. I just use a spreadsheet. I've been using it for 10 years. I've been using it for 15 years. I have all my movies in a text file and a spreadsheet. Now, that's a very simple solution, but for some people, it works great. I mean, definitely using a text file, just creating just a plain text version or a rich text, it has a lot of positives. First of all, it's compatible with pretty much any operating system, Mac or PC, Android, iPhone, even mobile. I mean, you can get a text editor on a mobile device and you're off to the races. You can view this text file anywhere that you can download this file to. It's easy to back up, and it's not bound to some kind of proprietary format that's going to go out of style. If you use an open, long supported, just plain text, if you're not using like a Microsoft Doc or some other company's proprietary document format, if you're just using plain text, it's going to be beautiful. The negatives are, unless you have some kind of exotic workflow where you can use macros or something to write this text file, you're pretty much going to be creating the text file manually on your own. You're going to be entering all this text in manually, and that can be a bit of a slog. And speaking a slog, it's just not that fun to use. There's no pictures, there's no multimedia, there's nothing, fun in it. It's very easy to search, but it's just basically a list of titles. It's just very, very basic. A little bit less basic is using a spreadsheet document like Microsoft Excel or Numbers or OpenOffice, which is a free word processing and desktop productivity suite, which includes a database, a spreadsheet application, or even Google Apps. The Google Apps website, you just go to google.com, you just need a Google account, you sign in, you store your documents online, or you can download them or upload them, all free. It's great. using a spreadsheet it has a lot of positives. It's closer to a database program in that it's a lot cleaner than text only. It's easier. You can use templates. People have been using spreadsheets to archive and catalog things for years. So you can use macros. You can use automatic functions. It's easy to transfer and backup. And again, if you're using using like CSV, like comma separated values and stuff like that. I mean, there are very long supported kind of non-proprietary formats for creating a spreadsheet. Some of the negatives is that the older the document, the older the format that you write it in, you may run into some issues that it's not compatible 100% with the newer versions. Like from an older version of Excel to a newer version to an older version of Numbers to a newer version, that's not a big risk, but it's just something to keep in mind. And again, it's just you may have to do some maintenance on your documents. You may have to update them to a newer version and things like that. It's just stuff to keep in mind that it's not as totally compatible as just plain text. That with that formatting, you're kind of inching closer to a database app that you're getting a little more proprietary. And with that, it's still, even though you can use macros, even you can use automatic functions and pre-filling and pre-formatting and other stuff, it's still just not as fun as like a proprietary database app where you can just write everything in and it allows you to view anything in a nice GUI and a nice user interface and a nice little pane with like a poster and everything. I mean, to me, that's fun. That's the main reason why I chose to use a database app versus a text file or a spreadsheet. It's just fun. Life is short, and you should have fun with your collection, and using an app to be able to graphically view your collection and search it and organize it and be able to see what you have. To me, there's a lot of value in that. Now, I spent a long time searching for a good database app. Primarily one for the Mac. You may be using Windows, you may be using Linux, you may be using a lot of different software. I'm going to give my suggestions specifically for Mac movie cataloging software in a few moments. But first of all, I just like to kind of go over some general guidelines and what I like to see from movie cataloging software. Some of the stuff is obvious, maybe some of it's not so obvious, but I just like these are just some things to keep in mind if you're going on the websites and you're reading reviews for your own specific movie cataloging software for your own specific operating system, past, present, or future operating system. Just some things to keep in mind as far as things that I think should be part of movie cataloging software. First of all, well supported, stable, and frequent updates. Okay, this is obvious, but sometimes not so obvious. You want a database software that they're going to be developing in the future. They're going to be writing patches for it. If your operating system updates, then the company, the developer, the software developer should publish updates for their software as well. This also goes back to open source versus closed source, because a lot of people, when you get into movie cataloging software and file formats, you're like, man, you should get an open source app. The philosophy of that is an open source app is never going to die. You'll be able to modify the source code in the future and it will never be obsolete. Well, that's not really true. I mean, imagine a closed source app that's frequently updated, that has a staff of dozens of people, salespeople. They're selling the software, they're supporting it year after year after year, versus an open source app that may be developed by 2 or 3 or 1 person who releases the source code. But what if the source code is poorly written? What if it is arcane? What if you can't fix it? What if you don't know how to program? So you've invested all of this time in cataloging all of your stuff in a poorly supported open source app that is obsolete, and now you've got to start all over, or you've got to find some way to get your data that you've entered in the app out of the app. Again, these are just some things to consider, because you kind of don't want to do this thing over and over and over. If you're going through thousands of titles, you want to be able to just kind of do it in 1 or 2 chunks. You want to be able to do it overall easy and good looking. Okay, again, that's obvious, but you just want something that's going to be pleasing to the eye. It's going to be easy to do searches. It's going to run well on your operating system. And some of these things you can find out from reviews. Other times you're going to have to download a demo and give things a test drive. And the good thing is that most of these applications, they do have demos. Easy to import new titles. Okay, so this is important. So you want to get data into the app as easy as possible. Many database movie cataloging apps, you don't have to enter everything manually. You can enter in a title. It will pull all of the data down from the TMDB, the movie database, which is kind of like an open source version of IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, or it'll pull down all the information from Amazon. UPC code scanning. Now, this is cool. This is something that was started way back in an early piece of DVD software called DVD Profiler. There was a piece of hardware called the QCat. The QCat was it was a scanner that Radio Shack gave away for free, and you could connect it to DVD Profiler, and you could actually scan the barcodes of your DVDs, and it made entry of them really fast. And modern DVD cataloging apps such as my personal one that I use, DVDpedia, also Delicious Library. Many of these DVD apps allow you to scan the UPCs. You don't need a QCat anymore. You can scan them in just with your front-facing camera, with your camera on your laptop. It's very, very cool. You just put the UPC up to the camera, and it scans it, and it's within seconds. Within a day, you can do like hundreds and hundreds of DVDs or Blu-rays. You can catalog your entire collection in a very short order. So that is a feature that if you're looking for an app, see if they have that, because that's going to make your life incredibly easier. So this is another thing, support for different media formats, kind of a media agnostic thing. Here's one thing a problem that I have with many cataloging software. They're geared toward one specific type of format, whether it be DVD or Blu-ray. Specifically DVD, you have a lot of older software that was really written specifically for DVD. And you're going to have DVD, you're going to have VHS, you're going to have Blu-ray, you're going to have multiple different formats. So you want them to, you want to be able to tag them and have it be recognized, these different formats. You don't want a software that's geared around one specific format, because that can cause a problem, especially when you have a mixed collection of many different types of media. Ideally, you'd want a software that can deal with disc-based movies, as well as digital movies, as well as movies on a hard drive that can read the file format of movies on a hard drive. I've never seen a DVD cataloging software that works well with both digital and disc-based movies. So I've had to just resort to using 2 different database programs, one for digital media on hard drives and CDs and so forth, another one for, physical media, tapes, discs, and so forth. Support for custom fields. This seems like a no-brainer, seems like an obvious thing, but many software are kind of locked in, that you have to really jump through a lot of hoops to enter in custom software. Because, okay, you want to catalog DVDs, you want to catalog Blu-rays, but you also want to catalog DVD-Rs. You also want to catalog Blu-ray Rs. You want to catalog VHS. So some software has a really great user interface, has a really incredible GUI. Stuff like on the Mac, there's a cataloging software called Delicious Library. But as far as custom fields, it's, as far as when I used the software, it was very difficult to enter in custom fields. It was all geared toward manually, or rather automatically entering in discs or books by the UPC code. Anything else, it was very, very, very flaky. It could be done, but it just wasn't as pretty and eloquent and kind of media agnostic as I really like. And this is really, really most important. You have to be able to back up the data that you put into this. If you're going to spend maybe hours and hours and hours on this data, you want to be able to back it up. And then you want to be able to export it to a common file format, whether that be a CSV or text or HTML or PDF. You want to be able to get this stuff out in a format that's readable, that's printable, that if this software blows up, that you're not left with a proprietary database that you can't do anything with, and it's not compatible with the new operating system that you've updated to. And again, that goes back to making sure it's well supported, but again, life happens. The most well-supported, most popular program can fall into disrepair. So you have to be prepared for those emergencies, especially when you're dealing with all of this important data and you're pulling that into it. So I haven't used Windows in a number of years, but I thought I'd just throw out here a couple of ideas as far as Windows cataloging software. We're on the website for DVD Profiler. This is developed by Envelos Software. It used to be Intervocative. And DVD Profiler is one of the older DVD apps. Now you can see they make a version for iOS and Android. It's relatively inexpensive. It's $14.95, and it really cool. It has as I was talking about, the UPC entry, and it's very, very easy to catalog dozens and dozens of movies at one time. You can keep track of loan DVDs. This was always a feature that I never really cared about. It does have a trial version, and the interface, is kind of dated. Let's see what the iOS version looks like. Yeah, again, it's kind of, iOS looks kind of okay. I guess it's slightly more up to date. So, yeah, DVD Profiler, again, they have Android and iOS apps and maybe a way of syncing. I don't know, but let's see. Well, it looks like they have, their forum is pretty active. They've got postings, so it looks like, this is a software that's relatively old and well tested, and so maybe worth checking out. Another piece of software is called Ant Movie Catalog. This is one that I kind of used for a while. It is totally free, and it goes way back. Again, it goes back to the early 2000s, Windows XP. The last version, it looks like, was back in 2014, so I don't think this is being actively developed. Let's look at the support forum. Let's look at it. Well, it looks like there are some postings from 2016. There's some bug reports. There's some people. So people may be still using it. And of course, this is open source. So, I was talking about earlier, but again, Ant Movie Catalog, if you're looking for something very lightweight, very easy, and very free, you can use this. Also, there is collectors.com, which is a site which sells a lot of software. They've got movie collector, book collector, music collector. This is kind of like your one-stop shop for creating your own little private media database. And as you see, they support both Mac and Windows. They're multi-format. And Movie Collectors again allows you to automatically enter in movies. There's a trial version. Again, the app's kind of a little bit dated. It allows UPC entry here. There's again, it's good stuff. But I just never liked. It just seemed like all of this stuff, they're kind of wearing themselves thin. It was just everything to everyone, and all of these features, and I just never really liked the look of it. I downloaded a trial version of it, and it just always kind of annoyed me. I never really quite liked it. So, but those are, three choices for Windows: DVD Profiler, Ant Movie Catalog, and Collectors. There's many more, dozens more from everywhere from Microsoft DOS to Windows 10. I'm sure has a lot of different apps. There's just too many to even think about. Okay, so I use Macs. I use Apple computers. So the Mac cataloging software is a lot more interesting to me. You'll find that often the Apple software, the Mac software, is a lot prettier, is a lot more frequently updated, can be, depending upon the app. When you're talking about Mac computers and cataloging your movies and your books and stuff, this company, Delicious Monster, will pop up a lot, and Delicious Library will pop up frequently. Delicious Library is a really beautiful looking catalog software that basically presents all of your movies as a kind of a shelf. That's not really a good view of it. What is that? That's another view. It has charts. This is it. Okay. This, again, you can see all of your movies on this kind of skeuomorphic shelf with the images there. It's very cool. It's more kind of like a bookshelf, but it always reminded me of also kind of like a shelf at a video store. So there was always like a sentimental kind of attachment to it. And it's a very frequently updated app. It's not a cheap app. It's about $40. It's $39. This company has been developing it for a number of years, and so this is now, it has the barcode scanning and allows you to scan in the barcode using your laptop's camera. It supports all of the new Mac technologies, so it's very fast. It draws those little thumbnails of the pictures on your shelves very fast. Autocomplete. It does a lot of stuff. Yeah, as I said, it's got a release notes. This company is really good. I mean, it's talking about a well-supported app. This is a company that is, really on the ball and is really good. The downsides I see with this app is that it's very pretty, it's very beautiful, but when you start to try to catalog stuff manually, stuff that's not on Amazon, stuff that might be like, say, a VHS rip of Commander USA on a DVD-R that you have in a CD binder. Well, Delicious Monster isn't geared to that. Delicious Monster is geared toward the type of consumer that's just going to buy stuff and going to put it on a shelf, and then you're going to catalog it in the virtual shelf inside of your Mac computer. So very, again, it's a different type of consumer. It's not really a die-hard video collector that's going to have all this kind of exotic, Betamax or Laserdiscs, all this stuff. Delicious Library is not geared toward that. I mean, I did a demo of Delicious Library, and I tried to get it to I tried to get some Laserdisc cover art and the covers, they're just geared toward a specific size. They may have, they're geared toward this, portrait. They're not if you try to put in like 12-inch like square covers, it just doesn't look as good, and it causes all kinds of issues. So Delicious Library, very pretty software. Despite my warnings, you may want to give it a try because it looks really cool. As I said, it's been 2004. They've been developing this for over a decade. So they're a good company, but it didn't really meet my needs, my overall needs, and was not as media agnostic as I like. Again, that's a very important thing when you're looking for a video database app, with a movie database app that you're going to be using for years with a bunch of different types of media. Now, this Collector, this is a relatively newish company. I guess they've been in business for a long time, but Collector will catalog your collection of DVDs and video files. So this does work on video files efficiently and beautifully. I've not really played around with this. It's cheap. It's Windows and Mac, and also available in the App Store. I've seen this suggested a couple times on some couple of websites. The screenshots look really old. One thing that turns me off to this one, though, is that it's so geared towards genres and actors and directors and all of this stuff. Another thing that I kind of want in a movie cataloging app is I kind of want something stripped down. I kind of want something that looks like just like an iTunes list of movies. That's closer to a spreadsheet, but like a spreadsheet plus. Because I do like the fact of a spreadsheet just having a list of items that's very easy to look at. But then again, I also want to have custom stuff. I want to be able to look at a poster if I double click on something, and I want to have my cake and eat it too. Basically, if I want all of this stuff, I can go to the IMDb. I don't have to have that inside of my own app. I can go to the website and pull it up in 4 seconds. What I want in my app is I want an efficient way of being able to get a bird's eye view of my entire collection, what formats are the movies in my collection, and where they are. So I'm wanting to know what I have and where do I have it, and all of this crap about actors and stuff. This is what you'll see in a lot of movie database apps. They'll try to say, oh, you can download character pictures. You can see what actor was in what movie. That I could give a damn about that. I don't care about what actor was in what movie and this, that, and that. I just want to look at my. I just care about what movies I have. If I'm doing some research into actors and stuff, I'll go into IMDb and get far more data than I can download on a little desktop app. So, but you may again want to investigate Collector. Now, DVDpedia. Now, DVDpedia by Bruji. This is great software. This is what I use personally. I love this software. They develop it for a lot of different operating systems. I think mainly, but I think there is a mobile version, but I think it's mainly just for Mac. It's Mac software. It's again relatively inexpensive, and it's great. It's again, as you can see, this is basically what the app looks like. It's like a spreadsheet. You can add movies. You have a way of separating out your library into smart collections and other things, and then you have this a very, very, very basic kind of bare bones view of everything, that it's just the interface kind of is there, but it gets out of your way. So as again, it's kind of like a spreadsheet, but then a lot more than you can do in a spreadsheet. And you can import your video, you can import the movies, again with a UPC scanner. It has that feature. Let me see if they talk about that. No. But you can see, again, you have some basic statistics. It has full screen mode. You can export. It has really great export and import features. It has webcam and scanner integration. That's what I was talking about, being able to scan in your movies automatically just with a UPC code. That is incredible. Again, that just cuts down so much time. Folders, smart collections. Again, there's just so much stuff, so much good stuff in this app. There's a Pocketpedia. There's an iOS version of it. So it is great software. And it seems like this company has been in business for a while. Seems like they're going to be well supported. Again, if the sky falls tomorrow, this software has a lot of really great features for exporting your movies, your database of movies into an HTML or a readable format, a very compatible format. So this is the one that I really love. Okay, so this is what the main DVDpedia interface looks like. You've got the movies. You can add movies through a search here. You can also add them manually. That is the iSight camera that allows you to add them by connecting to the iSight. There you go. Hello. Now you just put your DVD up to that little red square, and you can do a search just by the UPC code. Now you notice you can search a lot of these different categories. You're probably going to get the most hits through Amazon. And now there is kind of a catch as far as searching using Amazon. Let me pull up the DVDpedia preferences and I'll show you. With Amazon, you actually need a special account. You need in Amazon settings here, you need what's called an Amazon Web Services account, or AWS. So you have to go up to Amazon and sign up for an AWS account. It is free, but it's not the easiest thing to do. It requires a little bit of crawling around on the website, and then every once in a while, you'll be sent kind of weird, esoteric emails from Amazon regarding your Amazon Web Services account. But that's it. You can organize, of course, by all of this stuff. I have the media here because I have DVD, VHS, Blu-ray, everything here. The box. Now, again, as I told you, in my closet, I have these boxes, so I can tell exactly where it is. Say I want to go watch Screamers. Well, it's in DVD box 5. I go into DVD box 5. I pull it. I search it. And I watch it. That's how I deal with my movies. And that's it. And so it's really as simple as that. I'll show you some of the import options later to be able to mass import and add in some things. One thing I wanted to show you as far as searching, as far as adding movies through Amazon, is that this is one thing that if you want to use DVDpedia that I've encountered, like say Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Let's just do a search for that. And you'll notice that Beyond the Valley of the Dolls was released by Criterion a couple months back. But look at this one. That's the old DVD release. That's a PAL DVD. That's something, I think it's a 20th Century Fox PAL release. That's old release. Old. I have that actually. New UK Aero Blu-ray, and then the old Fox. So where is the brand new Beyond the Valley of the Dolls Blu-ray? It shows up on Amazon's site, but when you do a search for it, it doesn't show up. Well, this just happens. It's real random. The search is just it does weird things. The one thing that I can suggest that you can do is you can search for what you want to add on Amazon. You can go down, you can select the ASIN. Okay. And then you do a search from the ASIN, and oh my, what comes up but the movie that you were searching for. This is really cool because Amazon has VHS, it has, a lot of people sell on Amazon, and they'll put their movies on Amazon, so you'll actually be able to catalog a lot of Laserdisc, a lot of VHS, a lot of stuff just by searching on Amazon, pulling the ASIN, and then doing a search for it in DVDpedia. It is very, very, very cool. So that's a very fast way of adding your stuff in. You just click on add. You can use the iSight camera. You can use the Amazon search, and then of course you can always use these as well. You could in a jam. You can use a lot of recent search. You can use these other searches, but Amazon is going to give you the most hits, and it's going to have the most stuff there. So this is something really cool that DVDpedia can do, probably a lot of other movie catalog apps can do. Import from a CSV file, from a spreadsheet type of file. Now I was telling you earlier that spreadsheets are a good way to keep track of movies, and they really are, but again, sometimes you want to use a nice database app like this. But here's how you can use a spreadsheet app to really quickly, catalog. Say if you have like a big DVD binder, you have a CD binder that's full of like 500 movies, and you don't want to sit down at your computer and go through add manually, because a lot of this stuff may be VHS rips, maybe Laserdisc rips, maybe some really exotic formats but you want to kind of grind through them. Here's how you can add titles really fast to DVDpedia without having to go manually and do this and add all this crap in. You just want to use it. Okay. You start with a spreadsheet app. You start with something like numbers, and you create a list like this. You create a spreadsheet that has a title, a director, genre, comments, right? And you could even put like a format as well. Usually I don't do that because I'm going to have a bunch of, just DVD minus R's. I'm just going to put them all DVD minus R's. So once I import these, I'll select all of these entries, and I'll just say DVD minus R or something like that. But I'll just, let's say, per se, do this. And what I'll do is I'll open this up in numbers, and I'll export it as a .csv file, which, looks like this. This is what the movie list export as a CSV looks like. It's very, you could actually create this in a text editor, just, by yourself if you wanted to. You wouldn't even need a database app. You could just, if you wanted to, just type in like 2001, Stanley Kubrick, sci-fi, just start building the app just like that. These are all because there were additional cells that I didn't delete before I exported. But again, the simplest type of document that you can create. You could create this all in text. You could create that in text on your iPhone or iPad. Just bring your iPhone or iPad or a little laptop or a netbook over to where your DVD binder is, sit down on your couch, have a hot chocolate or whatever, whatever adult beverage as well you might have. And so you're not locked to your desktop computer and having to, manually add this in, the drudgery of adding and cataloging hundreds or thousands of DVDs. So you've got this CSV file that you've created. That's what it looks like when you just preview it. But okay, so then you just take this in file, import collection, and we select the movielist.csv to open, and it gives us this. So it tells us it's found the headers. Remember these header columns, and it's DVDpedia Smart. It tells us title, director, genre, and we go ahead and import it. And if we import it, it would import that 2001 option. So that's really it, and that's a really easy strategy for really quickly cataloging your movies for a lot of programs. I think DVD Profiler can also do that. I think Ant Movie Catalog can import and export as CSV. DVDpedia can do it right now, and it's a great app to use. So again, just some more food for thought. Here's another thing that I really enjoy about DVDpedia is that the database is searchable by Spotlight. Spotlight is like the global search on the Mac. So I can do a search for the toy, and it'll actually pull up the DVD. It'll pull up it'll tell me exactly where it's at. Box 5, so I don't even have to load the app to find it. I can, within one keystroke, I can click on the magnifying glass, the upper right hand corner of the Mac, bam, what I want to find, boom, I've got it. So it makes it just super easy to find stuff, and it is super cool. And again, just another one of the great features of DVDpedia. I don't know if Delicious Library can also do Spotlight search. I'm sure some other apps can, but again, this is just another great feature of DVDpedia. Okay, so I wanted to talk about movie cataloging websites. There have been a number of them over the years that have come and gone, and I'm just going to talk briefly on the movie cataloging websites because honestly, I don't really like them. I don't trust them, and I would suggest you not use them. You not waste your time putting your data into these huge websites. The advantages that I see that these websites having are your stuff is stored in the cloud. It's stored on a web server. On the website server, you can access it anywhere where you have an internet connection. Relatively easy to catalog. Most of these things are tied into the movie database or some kind of database, and so you can just enter in a title, and it's very easy. And it has a heavy bling factor. DVD Profiler used to be, you used to be able to upload from the DVD Profiler app to DVDprofiler.com, and people would trade, here's my collection. They'd put it as their signature when they posted to a news group or to a message board, or they'd have their DVD aficionado URL, DVDaf.com. And, granted, it's a very nerdy bling, when you're bragging about your DVD collection that you've logged. It's relatively, it's a nerdy that I understand, but it's still, it's a very nerdy bling factor. The disadvantages that I see is, depending upon the website, how it's laid out, it can be difficult to back your data up locally, to export it to a text file or a CSV or whatever. Frequently, if you back it up, you lose a lot of the formatting that's on the website. They make it very difficult to get your data out of the website. They want to keep you hooked like a drug. They want to keep you hooked on that website. They want to keep you engaged in that website. Anything that, the easy export is kind of shied away from. Even the websites that you pay for. It gets ridiculous, and it's also difficult to customize. Usually the website layout is the website layout. With an actual DVD cataloging software, you can move around the windows. You can even, in the case of some software like Ant Movie Catalog, you can download themes. You can change the way it looks. You can customize it to your screen, to how you like things, the colors that you like. Pretty much with a website, it may offer some basic customization, but it's pretty much what you see is what you get, and that can be kind of disappointing sometimes. And then the biggest downer is that a website can disappear at any time and your catalog can just vaporize. It can just vanish into nothing. And it doesn't matter how big the website is. There have been many big websites. I mean, the internet is littered with DVD movie cataloging websites where everybody rushed to put their stuff in and then they disappeared without a trace. Often they did give warning. Most of these sites did give warning, so you were able to try to pull your data off, but it's still, think about if you don't get the warning, you don't get the email that the site is closing and your collection that you thought was safe and in the cloud is available, boom, the servers are offline and you have to redo cataloging 100,000 how many titles. So I would really do your research on websites. Make sure that there is a strategy for backing up, for getting your data out of the cloud before you jump into this. And basically I would really strongly suggest staying away from cataloging websites, or movie list websites. There's a lot of websites that allow you to create a movie list, like blu-ray.com, even imdb.com. I think there's really limited value in lists. I mean, if I want a list, I could do that on a sheet of paper. I could do it on a spreadsheet or a text file. It'd be a lot more easier and compatible than on some kind of website that, again, may be not here tomorrow or may not be here in the same form tomorrow, or they may lose their data. They may have to wipe the servers and restart, and okay, the website still exists, but goodbye, your data's, start over, redo, reset. That's not fun. So I would suggest staying away from the websites. So finally, I want to mention two programs that you can use to catalog your digital files. Where Is It and NeoFinder or CD Finder. Where Is It? It doesn't look, I'm just looking at this website. When I was using Windows, I used to use this software. It allows you to catalog files that are on disks, that are on hard drives. It can basically go into the archives. It can create little thumbnails. It can import them. Basically, you can keep track of any files that you have on a CD, a DVD, a hard drive. You can keep them all in a Where Is It database. This Where Is It used to be the hotness. It used to be the hot Windows archiving app. It doesn't look like it's been updated in a number of years. So there, again, I haven't been in Windows World. Last update, February 14th. 2014. Okay, so my birthday a few years ago. So Valentine's Day 2014. So it hasn't been updated in 2 years. So there might be a better app, but this is one option. And what I personally use is this guy, is NeoFinder. NeoFinder is updated very frequently. The latest version is 10.12 Sierra, and I think it's only like a couple of weeks old. Like the last version was updated September, so it's about a month or so old. So NeoFinder again allows you to catalog files that are on on DVDs, CDs, and hard drives. And you just connect the hard drive in, you let NeoFinder scan it, and then you can search the files even when you do not have that hard drive connected. Very nice, a very easy way to keep track of movies that are on multiple external hard drives, files that are on multiple external hard drives, anything that's on multiple CDs or hard drives. Something like NeoFinder is really going to help you. Again, seems like it's really says proven technology, more than 64,000 customers, and all these companies are using. Wow. So again, this is an app, goes way back, but again, they're still updating it. It used to be called CD Finder, I believe, and it goes all the way back to Snow Leopard, all the way back to 2009. That's when Snow Leopard was released, and I think this is older. I think this goes back into the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, this thing is just, if you want file-based archiving and cataloging in Mac, this is the thing to do it. And I think it's Mac only. This is Mac only. So where is it for Windows? And I'm sure there's other Windows stuff. You got to probably do your own research on Windows. And NeoFinder, for me, that's pound for pound. This is the best. There are cheaper ones, there are free ones, but they're probably not going to be as good as this. This one is a little bit expensive. It's about $40. Most of these good catalog apps on the Mac are between $20 and $40. So you're into it. But I've used NeoFinder, and again, 20 years old. It's not going anywhere, and it runs beautifully in the latest Mac operating system. So that's my suggestion. So there it is. I hope I have provided a little food for thought as far as cataloging solutions. I understand that it's not easy. I think I had a runaway video collection just like anybody else. You start buying movies and searching after them and lusting after them, and before you know it, you've got these stacks of movies going up to the ceiling, and you don't know what you have. And then sometimes you start buying the same movie, or you worry that you've bought the same movie. Once you get them all cataloged and you invest that time in researching a solution, based on what you have as far as your computers, your operating system, the amount of time that you have to do it. Once you invest that amount of time, and it can take hours, days, weeks, months, doing it in little chunks. Do it over the weekend. Decide, okay, I'm going to do this shelf, I'm going to do this box, I'm going to do this case over the weekend, and then I'm going to take a breather and then attack it next weekend. After you've finished it, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment and well-being. You're going to save yourself time in the future. You're going to save yourself money in the future. You're going to know exactly, oh yeah, I have that out-of-print DVD in box 5, and I know exactly where to get it. It's going to be very rewarding and very fun too.